please come to your meditative seat. So this might be a cross-legged seat. Your legs could be extended. You could sit back on your heels and take both palms to face down onto your thighs. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and take a long, deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Do that again. Inhale deeply through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Now keep your eyes closed and your spine long. Bring your attention to your stomach and let your stomach get really, really, really relaxed. Relax your stomach. Relax your spine, or better said, the muscles around your spine. Relax your side body, your edges, the sides of your ribs. And now as you breathe in, can you imagine that right beneath your rib cage you had a balloon? And as you breathe in, it's blowing up. And so your belly pushes forward, your spine pushes back, your right side and your left side open out to either side. It's like there's a balloon expanding in all four directions under your rib cage. And then as you exhale, everything contracts back. Exaggerate this a little. Inhale, expand in all four directions. Exhale, bring it all back in. Inhale, there's this great, great expansion happening. Exhale, let it retract back through neutral. Keep breathing like this. Keep breathing this four-way breath, expansive breath. Your eyes are closed. And consider that your yoga practice and your meditation practice is actually designed to help free you or relieve you from suffering. It is designed to train you to tolerate discomfort, even pain, to disrupt negative emotional patterns. Keep breathing that four-way breath. This practice trains our brains, but also our bodies, because there are memories in our bodies. It trains our bodies to be serene in the midst of really, really intense sensation. And that sensation could be physical impact, like tripping and falling down the stairs. It could be emotional impact. It could just be the discomfort of controlled, present breath. So this is our intention today. Our intention is to get uncomfortable and train ourselves how to be when we're there. Take your hands together at heart center. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Set the intention to find serenity in the midst of sensation, to find serenity in the midst of sensation. Tonight we'll sing Om 3 times. Inhale through your nose. Om. Good. Lower your hands down towards your lap. Take your feet out in front, and this is a really tiny transition into butterfly pose. So I'll turn so you have a sideways view. Simply take the soles of your feet together. Let your knees flop out to either side, and you can actually flap them up and down for a few moments before we drop into the shape. If you have a really tight inner groin, feel free to place a prop underneath your knees or underneath your thighs. If you're slumping back, sit up on something. So sit up on the edge of a blanket or a bolster. And now take your hands down towards the floor in front of you and just begin to weave your body side to side. Walk your hands a little further and over time become deeper and deeper attuned or in tune with the sensations you feel in your body. And that might make you move a little differently than how I instruct you to move. And now find a place that takes you to about 70% of your body's range of motion, right? So even if you can pull your head to the floor, don't go that far. You could even add props, laying onto your props or your elbows. Go to about 70% of your body's range of motion until you feel tension along your inner groin, tension along your inner groin. And if you're folding forward, tension along your deep back line. So along either side of your spine. If your head is tilted forward, it goes all the way up to your neck. The compression that's happening here is between your frontal hip bones and your thighs. Once you've found that place, okay, once you've found butterfly shape that creates tension along your inner groin, your deep back line, and no pain. So there's no pins and needles, there's no sharp sensations. And if there is, you could do this pose up against the wall. You could lie on your back with your feet like this, right? Once you find that place, please take a deep breath in. Open your mouth wide, exhale out all your air, and be completely still here. Ride the waves like you're surfing. It's scary, it's uncomfortable, it's also exhilarating. It increases your patience and your tolerance. And even your perception of pain can start to change as you practice yoga, meditation, and mindfulness more rapidly and more regularly. We're holding here for 3 minutes, butterfly pose. If you feel pain, lie on your back. Otherwise, can you be absolutely still? Allowing the only thing to move be your breath. Relax your jaw, your head, your neck, and your shoulders. Soften the space between your eyes. And for the next few minutes, imagine that absolutely nothing else in the world is happening. Nothing else is happening except this. And I'll let you know when your time here is up. Please just take a breath in And as you exhale, soften into your shape. So if your edge has changed, maybe there's more space that naturally takes you deeper in the shape, follow that opening. If there's more resistance, push back, come back out of the pose rather. Relax your jaw, your lips, your tongue, the space between your eyebrows. Breathe here. Take a big breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Go so slow. You're coming back from being basically upside down for many of you. Walk your hands in towards your body. Take your hands back behind you. Place your feet onto the floor. And patiently rock your knees from side to side. If you're sitting on a blanket, just take it out to the side. And now place the soles of your feet together again, closer to the top of your yoga mat. In fact, your toes might be right towards the top edge of your mat. And simply lean your weight over to the right, or over to the left rather. Take your right leg back behind you and start here. So deer pose, your left shin is parallel-ish to the top of your yoga mat. And then your right thigh runs parallel to your left shin. And you can move that right ankle and foot and calf however you want to. This is deer pose, so there's definitely a heaviness happening towards your left hip. Press your hands into the floor. Inhale, lift your heart in your chest. Look up, brighten your eyes here. Now, as you exhale, descend. Drop your torso down either to a stack of props or right down to your forearms, maybe directly to the floor. And consider that the area we're searching for tension, so that stretch feeling, is your outer left hip, okay? It's your outer left hip. Tension in your outer left hip. You will probably feel compression between your left thigh or inner groin and your torso. So, right, your flesh hitting flesh, bone hitting bone, that's compression, joint hitting joint. But if you were to stay in this leg variation and try to find that sensation in your outer left hip, where would you go? So flirt with little movements here. Draw your weight to the right, maybe over to the left, until you find tension, stretch, somewhere in your outer left hip. And when you find it, soften either to props, to the floor, to your arms. Take a big breath in through your nose and exhale. You can relax your toes and your feet, your arms and your shoulders, of course, your jaw and your eyes. As you start to embark on a journey that requires so much patience and presence. These shapes aren't always enjoyable. Sometimes they're downright treacherous. Sometimes that stretch can drive you bananas. Sometimes it's the forceful silence or stillness that makes us erupt. And if that's happening, if that starts to happen to you in these poses, can you notice that it's there? And then mark it as a training ground or a training camp for learning how to be more patient and tolerant in a very unpredictable world off your yoga mat. Like if this feels boring or uncomfortable, so what? Just be here and feel what boring or uncomfortable feels like. Because most of the time in our real life, if our job is boring, if our conversations make us uncomfortable, if our family members make us angry or frustrated, we can't just run away, right? We have to stand up and face it and be in it. And that's what yin teaches us. It teaches us to just be in that quicksand, that sticky, sticky mud of life, knowing that this too shall pass. It will be over quite soon. Please take a deep breath in. Now, as you exhale, you might opt to stay here in deer pose, or you could extend your right leg back, and this might require you to draw your left shin in and replace your hips more neutrally on your yoga mat. As you come from deer pose to pigeon or sleeping swan pose, you're still targeting that same area, your outer left hip. This might give it a different experience. The stretch might shift, but it's that general lateral hip area where the work is happening. So you're now either in deer or in sleeping swan. Soft eyes, soft lips, soft shoulders, soft hips. Breathe here. Please take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Press your hands into the floor. Lift yourself up. Roll onto your left hip. Listen carefully. Bring your right leg forward and lie down onto your back. You could stay totally still on your back. You might move here and there. But another nice option is to take your feet mat distance apart and let your knees just fall into one another as you drape your hands over your belly. Soften and just notice or observe what that work did physically, energetically, even emotionally to you. Heel toe your feet in towards one another. Roll onto the right side of your body and patiently press yourself back up. Bring the soles of your feet together towards the top of your yoga mat. Roll towards the right hip and take your left leg back behind you. So we start with this 90-90 or deer pose shape. Your right shin is now running parallel with the top of your yoga mat. You're letting weight fall onto your right hip, and your left thigh runs parallel with that right leg. Either stay upright if you feel the work already in your outer hip, or begin to descend, begin to explore. You're interrogating your body, trying to uncover what arm and torso positioning can take you to that outer hip stretch. And this will be really different for every person. So go on that little journey. There's no right or wrong way to do this. See if you can find your deer pose, not the deer pose from the yoga manual, but your deer pose, the one that gives you the stretch and the sensation, maybe the release or relief that you're looking for. And when you get there and you hold, diving into the often uncomfortable experience of deep hip flexor work, patiently riding the highs and lows of this tension and this stress, knowing that everything in life is temporary. We are not here forever. Those tough conversations will end. Everything is temporary, and that temporary might be long, right? But it's still temporary. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, soften into your stretch. Let go. Decide to either linger as you are or neutralize through your center, your pelvis. Extend your left leg back behind you and dabble with sleeping swan. Again, don't just passively come into the shape. Play with your entry into the pose so that you find that sensation along your outer right hip so that you can bypass any pain or compression that doesn't feel safe. Maybe you stay in deer pose, wherever you are, a few moments to relax here. One more minute here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, soften. Really good. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Slowly, slowly, like you're moving through honey. Press your body up. Your eyes are soft. There's a laziness in these transitions. And then find your way down onto your back again, precisely as we did before. But this time, hug your knees in towards your chest. Close your eyes and just start to move your body in a way that feels really good. So you can imagine that you can't see any body workers, any massage therapists for a really long time. So you have to treat yourself, right? What can you do from this very simple supine position that feels good? And you might play with rolling over to one side or the next, with arcing or rounding your back. But this is your pose, okay? So this pose is our transition from yin to restorative. So you have 2 minutes here, 2 full minutes, just to be on your back and move in a way that feels therapeutic for your body. Because your body knows, right? Your body is telling you, you just need to listen. So no rules, just move in a way that feels good. Slowly take your feet down to the floor and find your bolster, or if you have blocks or blankets, you can use them as we move into a restorative bridge pose. Take your prop or prop, so I'll fold my blanket right over my bolster, which is quite a tiny and a low-lying bolster. Take your props right under your sacrum, that bone at the base of your spine. Place your hands either on your stomach or alongside your body and set your feet beneath your knees. Stretch out the back of your neck, draw your chin in, take a breath through your nose. Open your mouth wide and sigh. Exhale verbally, vocally. Let everything soften. This is a two-part supported, restorative shape. We will start here and evolve to a different variation. And while you're here, can you shift away from this idea of finding a really deep, good stretch, tension and compression that we look for in yin, and put your focus on just feeling supported enough by your props that you can relax entirely, that you can let go of all effort, all control, all responsibility. For me, restorative yoga is like leaving my kids with the most trusted babysitter on earth. Like, I know everything's going to be fine. I don't need to worry. And it feels like I'm taking 1,000 pounds of weights off my shoulders, and I can just be free. Can you find that feeling here? Total surrender. Now you can stay here, or inhale and imprint your feet into the floor. Lift your bum and move your props right beneath the fleshy part of your bum. So right beneath your bum cheeks now. Straighten out both legs. Let your feet flop out to either side. Let your arms open out to either side. And turn your palms up. There's a little more action or activity happening now from the frontal hip bones down the fronts of your quads, but not too much that it causes pain. You're still in this place of deep relaxation. And breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Really slow. Slower than you know. Walk your feet back into the earth. Push down through those feet to reach your hips up and move both props towards the right. Move both props towards the right. Shift your hips right to the left. Shift your hips to the right, to the left. And lie down onto the right side of your body. You can take your folded blanket over your left hip and take a bolster either under your right knee or between both legs. Folded blanket on your left hip. And now start to stretch open through your left arm. Maybe place a blanket under your left shoulder. Stretch open through your right arm, and open can mean bent at your elbows or arms in extension. And with or without a pillow under your head, find a place to rest your head, a direction to gaze in that feels really good. Take a deep breath in. In fact, breathe in so deeply that you can feel or at least imagine that breath waving through your body. And as you exhale, your spine, your shoulders, and your heart softens towards the earth. Bring your attention to the back of your heart, the upper left quadrant of your back body. Maybe you can hear it, and if you can't hear it beating, could you perhaps just imagine or make believe that sound, that thumping or pulsing of this great muscle under your skin? Soften from your heart. Find support with your props. And when mind gets busy and thoughts flutter in like butterflies filling the garden of your brain, just open a path for them to follow, to fly right back out. And know that they'll come back again. The mind is rarely silent. Our training here is just to observe the noise and create space for it to take a peaceful exit. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. First, soften your legs. That left hip drips towards the floor. And now rotate your knees so they face up towards the sky. In this mess of props, you can decide to be still or to move around in a way that feels nice for you. At your own time, shift your hips to the right. And with one prop between your legs or beneath your legs, and one blanket or some kind of weight resting on your right hip, could you find this restorative spinal twist on the opposite side? And remember our intention that we practice meditation and yoga to relieve suffering. And this happens by creating a stillness in our mind, by training us to be patient, to find serenity in the midst of sensation. And just simmer here. Good. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Patiently return everything back to center. For our final pose before Shavasana, you have two options. The first is to lie on your back and take as many props as you have with you under your legs. So you can place one or two bolsters, maybe a bolster with a blanket right beneath your knees and your thighs. You're adding just a little edge of elevation. And from here, you might rest your hands on your stomach or alongside your body. For those of you that have access to a wall or a dresser or a couch, something, and you're willing to take a little inversion to close tonight, you can come with me into legs up the wall. For legs up the wall, place your bolster, your blanket, just halfway down your yoga mat, and you'll use this as a pillow. Drive your left hip up against the wall. Rotate your spine down to the floor. Readjust that pillow as you go and take your legs up the wall. Now, because this is a restorative version, the further you take your pelvis from the wall and the deeper of an angle your legs are on, the more restorative this becomes. If you have a strap, you can bind your strap around your calves or your thighs, not around your knees, around your calves or your thighs, at about hip distance, just beyond hip distance apart. And that will catch your legs when they try to open wide. Rest your hands somewhere that feel comfortable and safe, somewhere that makes you feel completely supported and relaxed. In either variation, this is the final pose or push in our nervous system reset, and you might start to get really cold. Drape blankets over your body, put on socks, do what you need to do to warm up here. And then let everything just melt. Let everything just melt. And enjoy. If you're in legs up the wall and you're happy here, you can stay here. Otherwise, now would be a good time to come down onto your back for final Shavasana. If you've been lying on your back with those props beneath your legs, you can either stay there or find your way up to seated meditation and close with a seated meditation. So you're either in Shavasana, legs up the wall, or cross-legged seat. Your eyes are still closed, your focus is still on being present, patient, and tolerant through this training camp of yoga for life. Breathe here. Wherever you are, please take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out through your mouth. With soft eyes and lazy bones, slowly transition from your shape to a cross-legged seated meditation. When you get to your cross-legged seat, close your eyes and place your palms down on your thighs. Remind yourself of our intention to find serenity even in the face of sensation. Can you find serenity in this seat? You have just 2 minutes here. Please bring your hands together at your heart center. Set a new intention now to take this lesson of finding serenity in sensation off your yoga mat and into your life. So when you start to get into a heated argument with someone and you feel your belly clenching and your jaw stiffening, can you find serenity with breath, with relaxing your body, with becoming aware of what you're feeling? That's your homework. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth wide and exhale. 3 ohms bring us full circle to close. Inhale. Thank you so much for sticking through this practice this whole month. Namaste.